This is a Headgum podcast.
Less table to go, slightly less, but really It's a matter of
I'm already doing well.
inches. All right. Do you want anything to drink?
No, I'm good. I'll stay thirsty.
Yeah?
Yes. Hey, I brought you this. I brought you my
God bless. Thank you
my
so
newest
much.
book.
Awesome.
And I hope you don't mind. I wrote down some words, just keywords.
Keywords.
Yes.
For you or me?
For me, just because we're gonna. I figured I'd have like some words ready for.
I got you. I understand. I didn't know. Okay, sure.
Wait, let me get.
I mean, the whole idea is just to have a conversation.
I understand. Yeah, I mean, for me, this is improv because I'm not used to it, and I figured I just have a couple of crutches to fall back on, but I won't. It's not.
You're not even going to need them. We're
Okay.
just going to have a conversation. And now, when I walked in here, it was, I'm going to say, roughly 45 degrees warmer. But now it's cooled down. Now it's going.
Is the temperature okay?
I might just go get my hoodie.
Do you want me to okay,
How about that?
Go for it.
Do you mind if I get my hoodie?
Great.
How's the
Yeah,
temperature for you, Ruben?
I'm perfect. Yeah,
Okay,
this is good.
Well, you got it.
I got layers I can
Yeah,
I can adjust as needed.
Good. We just need to reset camera 3, and then we'll be.
So this is video
good to
too.
start. Yes, it is.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I
YouTube.
should
All over.
have dressed for it.
No,
I guess
you're
I guess I actually did.
great. You did.
Come to think of it, this is what I would have worn.
You want to help me in your chair, Nicole?
Yeah, I was just gonna see if it's
Crazy. This might be too much. I usually smart about what I wear, but when I left the house, it was about
cold.
44 degrees.
Yeah, winter.
And then when excuse me, I'll scoot in. And then when I, it's a hoodie, but it's more coat.
Yes. You could borrow my sweatshirt hoodie. Would you rather have that one?
Is it all free on the subway with that?
I was on the subway with it.
I appreciate it. That's,
okay.
I'll stick with mine.
This is a sensory issue, I think. Yeah.
All right, let me get back to where my mic is. Get all this. And at the end, I'm going to ask you a question from my daughter, who's 6 years old.
Good.
All right.
Good.
Good
like
that
those
I'm going to
questions.
ask you a question, or good that she's
Good
6?
that it's from a 6-year-old. That's
Oh, yeah.
I love those questions. I love. I'm an old dad at heart.
Oh yeah, I talk about at heart. Oh, I'm literally an old dad.
I am an old dad. I have old kids.
Yeah.
But I'm just like a dad at heart.
You're a dad of old people.
It's my main thing. I am a dad of old people.
Okay. You went to Tufts.
I did.
Oh yeah, I lived in Boston for 9 years. So up
I
in
know.
Mission Hill.
I know. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
was
didn't
that-
live in Mission Hill. I just was referencing Mission Hill.
Mission Hill.
It's a Tufts adjacent community.
Tufts is Somerville. I just can't hide my Somerville pride. That's a.
I lived in Somerville for 2 years, I want to say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I lived in right behind Davis Square and right behind Porter Square.
Oh, yeah. That's
two
it.
different,
That's my hood. Yeah.
Is that where you grew up?
No, I grew up in New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah. But I spent 7 years in Somerville and, Davis Square, that whole area.
And I moved there when my then girlfriend at the time, I guess I don't have to qualify it. She's not still my girlfriend, and I also have a wife. But no, so my girlfriend and I were going to make the big move to move in with each other, and we were trying to pick a place that we could afford. And we ended up in Somerville at Davis Square because of Redbones.
Redbones.
What?
Wait a minute.
How do you not know what Redbones is?
What was that?
Redbones was still currently is, or was the anchor for when the kind of creeping gentrification came into Davis Square.
Right.
Redbones was like the first kind of restaurant that didn't really seem to fit. Because it was very,
it
very
was
working
older than
class.
that?
Yeah,
'Cause it was. Yeah, I mean, when I was there, it was a long time ago. It was working class. It was not at all like it is now.
it was when I moved there as well. I mean, when were you there?
I was there. I guess I left in '87.
Oh, I probably moved in. Yeah, probably around 90. It was
Okay.
maybe.
I was hoping that maybe we were neighbors. Yeah, so it must have been there. I don't know.
It was, and now it's like, it's a well-known, it's very good. And I try to go whenever I'm back, but, it was initially, I'm trying to think of the street side. Is like a side street. You know where it was the Rosebud, I want to say?
Rosebud,
yeah.
That's the main
So it was
landmark,
across the street from the Rosebud and down north about a block, and then down one of those tiny
passed
side
by it
streets.
many times, but I don't know. You know, when I was there, I was a student, and I don't know, eating out wasn't. It is now, but it wasn't a priority then. I didn't eat out much.
Yeah.
I would,
well, same here. That was a special thing, and I'm a big fan of barbecue and good barbecue, and I'm a snob when it comes to barbecue. Yeah, and it was good, and they had. But initially it was, now it's all one big thing, but they were adjacent to a real divey old man bar. I can't remember the name of it. I'll try to think of it. And for the first, I'd say 3 or 4 years, maybe even 5 years, you would, they had kind of a friendly relationship with the bar, and there was a door that went through, and they just sort of removed the doors, and the bar was the bar. So you'd have the barbecue and people coming in, and all walks of life, families, single,
right,
young kids, college kids, whatever, and then this real Somerville working class, guys who were in there starting to drink it too, and then watching, and one of the best things, it is, I have a handful of experiences from Boston where I go, that's the most Boston thing ever. But these guys, so it was when the Celtics had Reggie Lewis. So this you can date it, because Reggie Lewis wasn't there that long, and for the first time, they were fielding an all-black team. It was the first time. So, late 80s.
Yeah, they were late. They were begrudgingly late,
yes,
throughout the process.
Well, they have a fan base to consider. And these guys are sitting there, these old, Boston, working class, just, some, no Bonnies at all. And we'll talk about that in a second, what Bonnie means. But they're just sitting there, and, they're drinking, and they're watching the Celtics game. It's up on the 2 TVs on either corner. And whatever, like, I remember they had Ed Pickney, trying to think of the other guys they had on the team, but I'm spacing on this. But they were all black players, and whoever had the ball, it didn't matter. They weren't saying this ironically or at all. They were like, "Come on, Reggie," because Reggie Lewis was their star player. But it was the first time
they're all kind of Reggie.
They're all Reggie. Come on, Reggie. So whoever got the ball,
at least they're rooting for
whichever black guy got the ball with
at least
the Celtics jersey on. Come on, Reggie. Reggie. Come on, Reggie.
At least we found a way for them to root for black people in a very specific way. So that's nice.
Pretty awesome to watch. And then now, so are you familiar with the term Barney?
Barney, no.
Okay, so
am I even from there? I'm not picking up in any of these.
So Barney, I didn't know this until I was there, and somebody told me about it. And there was a band that called themselves the Barneys, and it was. It's also such a Boston thing where, they, I would say quite easily Boston is the most provincial city place I've ever lived in.
Absolutely.
And I've lived all over the place, and it's just to a different degree. It's really provincial and prickly and defensive and just weird. And and so it's so provincial that just the tiny little hamlet of Somerville had their own derogatory, derisive word for people who weren't from Somerville.
For everyone else, like barbarians and in Greek times,
they would call them Barneys.
Barneys.
Fucking Barneys. Look at this fucking Barney. Where you from, Methuen? You know, like he'd be like, Somerville's tiny. It's like being like
everyone outside of Somerville.
Everyone outside of Crown Heights
in Somerville. Was it Sully's?
I don't know.
Sully.
That I don't know. But they had a derisive word for people that were literally 6 blocks away.
No, I never heard of that. And I was in my bubble. I really wasn't, because I was a student. Mm-hmm. I was with other students, and we were from all over the place. And we'd go to, there was one bar I would go to a lot that was very local, that was in, I think, closer to Cambridge, maybe in Cambridge on Mass Ave, called Nick's Beef and Beer House.
Oh yeah, I remember Nick's. Yeah.
Oh my God, did I love Nick's Beef and Beer House?
Yeah.
They had those, you know those fake logs you can put, like you plug them in and they sort of glow, and you can put them in like a fireplace. Yeah. The walls were lined with them for some reason. That was the lighting.
Oh, I don't remember that, but that's smart. I like that.
That's cool. A very mistake. I remember I was there once. We were there at night for drinks, and I realized that I had been there for lunch and dinner, and this was my third time there.
That's a good day. That is a good day
because it was so cheap, and I just loved the waitresses and the whole vibe of the place. So that was my one blue collar.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the great things about Boston, and there's a lot of things that are kind of fucked up, but there are a lot of great things about Boston, and one of them is it was a great place to be poor in, to be a poor student, because there were multiple places where you could go for like a happy hour, and I think they passed a law actually much later, but you could get a pint at like Harvard Gardens, I think had this, or not Harvard Gardens. It was around the corner on Charles Street, but it was, or right on the corner there, but in Back Bay, but it was just a shitty dive bar, and on Wednesdays, I think it was like chicken wing night, and they'd get a platter, like those big tinfoil things, chicken wings, and it's all you can eat. You buy a pint, and you could have a pint of beer, nurse it, and eat.
That was,
and there were a lot of those type of places.
In those days, all you can eat was literally all you can eat. Yeah. You would not leave a thing on the table if there was any room.
But yeah, it worked, and it was a decent place to. No,
that's great. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people, a lot of young people who are on budgets, and so everything is sort of geared towards them. Much more so than New York. I get the sense New York is a tougher place.
I would not want to be here if I didn't have money, and I didn't have money most of my life, and I sort of struggled in all those places, but it was a lot easier to do in Boston, and even Los Angeles than New York. I think.
Even Los Angeles, because I've never lived there, but I figured.
I mean, I'm talking about
have a car. You gotta. Well, I guess
there's buses. I used to take a bus from Koreatown to Cloverfield and 26th, I think, to go to 3 buses. So I'd get one bus from Koreatown would take me into a part of like wherever it was, Culver City, and then I'd get on the blue bus to Santa Monica. And I worked in this warehouse, But I mean, that was
3
not
buses
difficult.
To a warehouse job, really not.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pain in the ass. It's not fun, but it wasn't difficult. Right. You allot for the time. You get on the bus, you go, and on the bus you can read and do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, not whatever you want. I tried my drag reading time shows there, and they didn't care for it. I was way ahead of the curve on that, yes. And.
Now, when I would go to LA, for a while I was going sort of back and forth because I had my obligatory, dalliance with Hollywood for my comic stuff. And every single time I would go, I would do it over and over again. I'd always forget. I'd like look on the map and say, "Oh, that's only like a mile away, so I'll walk that." And
I laugh knowingly.
Every single time I'd end up on like an overpass with like a little narrow, a little concrete, slab with a homeless guy in a shopping cart, and the two of us are like inching along.
Oh,
and
dude,
it would happen over and over.
I just got back from LA about a week and a half ago, and while I was there, I was recording some of these podcasts at the Headgum office in Silver Lake or Echo Park, wherever, and I purposely got an Airbnb. I was there for like 3 days. That was walkable, and
literally walkable.
Literally
Actually
walkable, yeah. And it was about, I think it was 2.2 miles. Great. Good walk there, good walk home. And it was exactly like you're describing. And I saw so many human shits, just a lot of human poos. And the situation is, the homeless, mentally ill situation is out of hand there.
Oh, yeah.
And, but yeah, on like this embankment, like you look on a map, it's like, what a lovely walk that must be.
That's right.
And it probably was back in 1955.
So you're still making that mistake even with all your experience there.
I mean, I know it's going to happen, and I just sort of do it. But
if I go back, I'm sure I'll do that again.
Pleasant Acres.
Yes.
Now we'll get back to this, but I want to mention this. So Ruben I'm a huge fan, as you know.
Oh, thank you, man.
I think your work is just it's so succinct. You can do in 3 to 9 panels what some people can't do in an hour monologue or a 15-minute spot on the news or whatever. It's just perfect. So Tom the Dancing Bug, an unfortunate name, but that's what it is the name of the comic written by and penned by Ruben Bolling. And you started way, way back, right?
I started back when I was, in school living in Somerville. But I started this strip started in 1990.
1990?
In an alternative weekly. 33 years ago. Yeah, that's a long time to be doing this.
It's just, I mean, I love your stuff. As I said, it's just.
Oh, thanks. God, that means so much to me coming from you.
Well, reserve.
No, because I'm so happy and proud to be here, and the fact that you are a fan of my stuff is just amazing to me.
And twice nominated for a Pulitzer Prize. Twice
lost.
Well, would you rather have two nominees or one win?
One win, right?
No.
No. One win,
because
for sure.
Here's the thing. And I say this as a roughly 11-time loser of things. I've won a couple things, but I've mostly been nominated. And there's a lot of stuff I was not nominated for. In fact, almost all of it. The fact that you're nominated means, and I know the all the stuff that's out there, right? There are, hundreds, right, of potential nominees. And then you're one of 5, right? And that is so to be taken, considered from that pool of 200 and the top 5 in a sense. And then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what, and then it's also a much smaller voting. So
that's true for the Pulitzer. Not smaller. Actually it's bigger. Come to think of it, it's the first round is a small group of experts, and then they bring their 3 finalists to a larger group of just like journalist bigwigs, like David Remnick and the editor of the New York Times, I'm sure, whatever. And so they're the ones who decide on the winner among those 3. So the 3 are chosen by experts, and then
I think you underscore my point. It's better it's better for the people who know what you do,
yes,
what they're talking about to nominate you.
And then
if some guy, like, that's how I feel about, the Emmys or Oscars or any of that stuff where you have, your peers,
Right.
vote, and then it's given to a panel, whether that panel is larger or smaller is, it depends, but it's given to a panel of a bunch of people who have nothing to do with it.
Non-experts, yeah.
So, should I be, considering an award for editing?
Well,
not really.
Well, here's where I would push back on that. You're saying I would suggest that it's sort of meaningless. That even the group of experts, it's sort of BS. I don't know how you choose the best.
Sure.
I think so. So just to be chosen, it's an honor, and I'm so glad they did. But I don't think that the award itself really means anything that you're great but I think that there's an advantage to winning in your career, and just like Pulitzer Prize winner becomes the adjective before my name every time I'm introduced.
Right.
Whereas finalist, 2-time finalist, that's sort of, so
that's 2-time loser. That's how you're seeing it.
That's yeah. So, but people don't, that's not, it's like, some people who don't know my comic strip, I'll meet them like at a party and I'll have to explain what it is. And, I can tell them sort of on the spot to like convince them that it's something. And, if you just say, yeah, well, I won a Pulitzer Prize. That's it. End. Done. It's something.
It's the thing. There is not a whole lot. I mean, Pulitzer is better than Oscar or
it's
any.
It's incredible that
I'd say Kennedy Center honor, my trumpet.
That's huge, yeah.
And perhaps funniest dentist in Worcester, which is a real contest.
And plus you get a mug.
You get the mug. Wait, you get the mug for the dentist thing or the
dentist thing?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Did the Pulitzer committee not give you a mug?
They gave me a letter.
A letter? How are you supposed to drink coffee out of a letter? It's ridiculous.
I filtered it through the paper.
It's Emma. Google Pulitzer Prize nominating committee not complaining. It'll be diplomatic, but about getting their changed letter to mug. Just write that down, and I'll know what it means.
So yeah. Anyway, it's gotten awards, and it's been a great adventure for 33 years. For sure. It was great. Well, we met before. The other time we met was in after you did a show at Union Hall.
Yes,
you came out from. We had a beer. I
was doing a shooting the shit
show. Yeah, that was fantastic. And it was just great. And the thing I remembered, I wanted to tell you is that we were talking, and you were just talking about. You mentioned your father, and I hope I got this right, but I think you said your father's from Leeds.
Yeah, England. Yeah. Okay,
so did you ever do? I do this thing all the time.
Did you get me a present?
Live at Leeds. I always do this thing where someone will say something and it'll always trigger like a TV show line or a movie, something. And so you said that, and I thought, oh, you got that from the CD Live at Leeds, that from this and from Todd Margaret.
Right.
And, but it wasn't until I was walking home that I thought, no, this is the guy who wrote that. It came into my head, but it didn't occur to me that is you. It's just like one of those, like, oh, there's the Live at Leeds. So I thought you were,
I wouldn't make something up based on a weird random thing from a TV show nobody ever saw.
No, I didn't think you were lying. It was just that came into my head. Live at Leeds, that image of the CD
It was interesting because there's all kinds of meta shit in not shit. I don't mean to denigrate it, but the
best kind of
stuff
shit. Yeah.
In the 3 seasons of the increasingly poor decisions of Todd Margaret. But one of them is the fact that he lies. He makes up a lie about his dad being from Leeds, and then has to commit to that lie. But my dad, who is from Leeds, is a pathological liar, just a inveterate
Right. Todd
weird.
Margaret level.
Yeah, just a like, what are you like? Just making crazy shit up that isn't true.
Yeah.
Not when you're a kid. When you're a kid, you believe it. But as you get older, you're like, wait a minute, he wasn't Donna Mills' boyfriend. Not Donna Mills. Who was the woman? She was on like Falcon Crest or what was the one that takes place in Denver?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know.
It was one of those. She was like a lady from one of those. What was the not Dallas, but it was
Dallas, and then
there's the other one, Denver.
Was it Falcon Crest?
There was Falcon Crest, but it wasn't.
I don't remember. I remember when I was a kid, we were in LA and they asked us to do like a focus group, and it was for the spinoff of Dallas. And
yeah, that was it. It was.
I don't remember what it was called, so I actually saw it. I did see it as a kid.
It was the Carringtons in Denver Oil.
We had like a button, like press this one if you like what's going on, press this one if you don't like it. And I had my finger on. I don't like this the entire time. Yeah, I'm like 13 years old. I'm like,
you gave it a shot.
I don't. I don't remember what it was called.
Emma, Google, what the fuck was the name of the show that was like, it was the one with Joan Collins.
Dynasty.
Dynasty.
Was that a spinoff or a competitor?
I don't know.
I'm out of my depth here. I don't know anything about.
Well, the spinoff of
Dynasty.
Dallas, which was Corpus Christi, was not very successful. It was just boring, like sleepy little kind of weird racist town by the water.
They should have made it Somerville.
Yeah, fucking Bonnies.
Okay. I think my grandmother used to make us ham. I don't know. There must have been some problem because I didn't like my grandmother's hamburgers.
What was this?
That was the problem. Remember. I was very little.
I think that was the problem.
That is a problem. So the next time she came,
unless that's a euphemism,
then the next time she came, my parents, my mom and my grandmother said that she went to a restaurant near us called Don's, and they taught her how to make hamburgers. So now they'll be good. So I was like, wow, that's impressive. And I ate it, and I think I liked it. And it wasn't until like I'm an adult, like with your father, like I'm an adult and I'm thinking, wait a minute, she didn't go to Don's and learn how to make hamburgers. She just said that. So I'd shut my little mouth up and eat her hamburgers.
That lie is practical and is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
It was fair. It's on me, really.
That really, if there's quite often there are times you're like, how do I shut this kid up? Why? And well, because of that. Why? Well, and
then you have to end it. So
I went to Don's to learn how to make hamburgers.
Yeah.
Oh, now I like them.
Well, this was probably the worst lie that was told to me as a kid. So we had different childhoods. I know in many ways.
That's a blessed childhood. If that's the worst lie you ever got.
I think it really is. It was.
Also, I think maybe it's just cultural, but I don't think anybody in my family ever made hamburgers. Like it just wasn't a thing. Yeah.
No one's making. That's a standard.
No, you're right. And I could be wrong. There might have been a time or two when we had hamburgers, but I don't remember it. It certainly wasn't a staple. And we didn't really grill out. My dad wasn't there, and then he was gone by the time I was 9. But we weren't like a big hey, hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill this summer.
We had the grill. We had the grill too. My dad he made hamburgers he made them like meatballs. Yeah, I would always try to say, make them flatter, Dad, and then he'd say, I'll go to Don's and no, but he made very round.
Did Don's have good hamburgers?
I guess I must have liked the Don's hamburgers, the Don's drive-in.
And then the next time you had your grandmom's hamburger, did you go, thumbs up?
I think I did. Good. I think or I thought I guess I can't argue with this now. It's just they cornered me.
How that's very suggestive to say you like them.
Yes.
And I've heard it's a thing that you can do with kids at there's a tiny little age bubble where you can do this, where you can tell them that they like something and then they'll like it, or that they don't like it. Like you can go, and if you tell a kid, this may not only last like a month to a couple months, but you're like, if they eat something and they like it, and you go, that's a roasted carrot, right? It's just, oh, I like it. And then they can be the kid that likes roasted carrots. I like roasted carrot, and that's part of their identity. Like I'm Ethiopian, I'm Jewish, I like roasted carrots, and that's their thing.
That's beautiful.
And you can milk that for like a month or 2 months until they go, hey, I don't like roasted carrots. And all right, well,
yes. My son says he remembers the moment when we kept giving him bananas. He must have been very little. Mm-hmm. And the moment when he said, wait a minute, I don't like this.
He learned to sign it before he could even speak.
Yes. It must have been about that age, because it's like you just feed kids these soft, mushy foods, and he's like eating it up, and suddenly it like turns, like he realizes, I'm not enjoying this.
One of my favorite things, I love when babies or dogs sneeze. That's one of my favorite things in the world. But also babies and dogs do the same thing, where they don't necessarily make a face, but if they don't like something, they'll just push it out of their mouth. Right. Not necessarily spit it out in anger, but
just comes the other way.
Like, you put it, if you like go to feed a dog and they don't like it, they just go.
It's going one way, then it's going another.
Yeah. And then the baby just does the same, like, and you got to clean it up. Like, okay, lesson learned.
That's a good incentive to give them tasty
You don't
foods.
like Ruben's grandmom's hamburgers? Fine. So we'll send her to Don's. Do you have? This is the latest, yes?
This is
book?
I'm releasing them. We're doing multi-volume, complete Tom the Dancing Bug set. Every comic I've done, in each book is 4 years worth of comics.
Oh, I see. This is 99 to 2002.
I'm going backwards. So the first one came out right at Trump's election, because I wanted that one to come out, and now we're going backwards. So this is volume 3, which is the 5th volume.
So
released.
And the other one that I got in the mail was volume 2?
Volume 7.
Volume 7.
Into
you
the
went
Trump
backwards,
first, because I'm going backwards.
Right.
So volume 7 came out first. Volume 3 came out. I'm not going to do the math, and this may not work out. But the 5th?
I don't.
Got
me. I don't. I pay for somebody to do the math on that.
Yeah. So because I wanted that first Trump one to come out, and the next one will be volume 8, because I'm ready for the latest one to come out.
And this one has Godman in it?
That one does it have Godman in it? Better.
I don't know.
It better. Jeez, did he come out in that time? He must be in there. Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Yes, I made him up in 97 or something.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
good, great stuff. I urge you to check it out. But there's also people who are not watching this and only listening. So this is the complete Tom the Dancing Bug, 1999 to 2002, volume 3 of 7.
Of now will be 8.
Of what will be 8.
Yeah.
On the trail of Tom the Dancing Bug.
Man,
comics by Ruben Bolling.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know that. I was wanting to give that to you as a present. I didn't mean it to be a publicity problem.
Oh, I was going to pay. I thought I was going to pay for it, but I was going to ask you, can I get like sort of friends and family discount?
10%. But man,
10%?
I blew it. Yeah.
That's what you give. That's your discount to friends. So your family, your mom wants a book. And you're like, sure,
my Nana
Mom,
made me some good hamburgers.
You can have it. Let me knock off 10% since you raised me. That's a bunch of bullshit.
My present to you, as take it for whatever it's worth. But yeah.
Well, apparently it's worth 10% less than its market value.
At least 10% off. Yeah. So it's really fun. Thank you you gave me a quote for the first volume that came out for volume 8, and that was
blurbed the shit out of that.
You did blurb the shit out of it. Is right, because do you remember this? You were the only one I had to go back to.
What?
Because your quote,
I was racist.
I was cringing to do this because I was so embarrassed.
Did I use the N-word?
Your quote had the word shitty in it.
Oh, shitty. Yeah.
And which is fine. This is on me. I've never had cursing in the comic. I don't know why. I'm the Jim Gaffigan.
That's
of,
all right. That's all right.
So I had to go back to you and say, would you mind? I don't. There's no. I've gone like at that point 30 years, and I don't want my first one to be in the back.
I haven't made a swear.
You made a swear. So so I suggested, would you change it? Maybe something else. Maybe crappy. And you said, how about bleak? And I said,
"Oh, there you go."
I said, "This is a wordsmith."
And bleak is better than shitty.
Better than both. It ended up. So
crappy sounds like you've been asked to change shitty.
Right. Crappy was really
when you read crappy, you're like, oh, they probably wanted shitty, but they made him
but I was trying to. I felt so embarrassed to go back to you after you were so nice to.
No, you made it better. You edited it.
I did, but I don't want to bother you.
Your own editor. And
but we made it. We honed that quote into the best blurb it could be.
And it was nominated for a Quotey that year. There were.
Thank God it didn't win because really what you want is to be nominated.
You want to be nominated.
You want by the quote peers
for a blurb. To be considered one of the best blurbsmiths of 2000 whatever
once
it was.
Once it goes to the to that committee, they don't know about blurbs. What do they know?
What do they know about blurbs? They're writing long form. They're writing prose. They're writing treaties. And no, a blurb is an art form unto itself.
Yeah. So congratulations on the nom.
Yeah. Thank you.
The nod.
We will find out shortly whether I have won or not.
Well, it's a long process.
Are you on the board that oversees the voting?
I am on the I'm on the board. Yeah.
So do you have to recuse yourself or how does that work?
No, there's no ethics in that at all.
Oh, okay. So it's like every other board.
No, blurbing is there's no ethics in blurbing. You know that. You'll say people will say anything about anything. Yeah. Right. And you trade blurbs, you know how that's done?
It's called log rolling, right?
Log rolling in our times. Yeah.
I know that is that from Private Eye?
Spy.
Oh, okay. Because Private Eye.
Maybe both.
Do you know Private Eye?
That's English, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know much about it. I know
it is absolutely brilliant. And I understand why we don't have something like that in the States. It's just we're too big, but it's perfect for the kind of country that or territories that the UK is, and it's the best of all worlds.
Oh, really?
And,
I should check it out.
Private Eye is great.
I should check that out because I have heard of it. I didn't think much of I thought it'd just be another satire thing, but maybe
Well, the first half is news.
Okay.
Their take on news, and they're often ahead of the curve and they've been around for quite a while. And then the kind of latter back half are more blatantly comic things, and they
I know they have comics and cartoons because yes. I've seen that. There's a British magazine of comics called Viz.
I have subscriptions to both Viz, or had subscriptions to both Viz and Private Eye.
I should have subscribed to that. I'm obsessed with it.
It's great.
It is so disgustingly hilarious. It is just so gross. There's stuff in there. I'm obsessed with it. That the artists are amazing. It's like they take like the old style British comic of like boy adventures and mysteries and just make them like comics that are just disgustingly hilarious.
Well, yeah, they do several kind of genres. They do the there was a
adventure, kinds of
there was like a very cartoony like their equivalent of the Dead End Kids type of thing. Like we're just, but then they have Biffa Bacon. They have a lot of they make fun of the North a lot. And,
yes. It's amazing how different culturally it is, or how many things that I think are funny, but I just don't get. There's like the equivalent of like Barney's.
But you get the context.
Yeah, I do. I have to like catch on and sometimes you don't get something and it's still hilarious because you just know there's something funny behind it.
I don't think, or actually I'm thinking of one time that I've laughed as hard as I've laughed when I was on a plane. And, part of it is altitude and you have a few drinks, but
right.
I was reading their Viz Top
Tom the
Tips.
Dancing Bug? No.
No.
Oh.
And I had a copy of Viz, and I was reading Top Tips, and I was like laughing, crying at some of them. They were just
the tips of like things you can do, like household tips and
yeah. And I'm going to do it a disservice if I try to paraphrase one, but they're just the whole fucking the thing is funny, and there's some that are just sort of base and gross, but there's a lot of clever, funny.
Yeah,
I love Viz. I love Private Eye. They're two very different things, but they appeal to the two different parts of me.
Oh,
and I learn a lot about British politics from Private Eye. I learn about what's going on, and I lived there for a couple of years, and that's why I get it every week or every biweekly.
Is that where you learned about these when you were living there?
Yeah. And then when I came back, I subscribed to them for a while. They're just. And one of the greatest thrills of my So I had gotten a copy of Private Eye, and I remember I was back here. I was reading it. I was I must have got it and taken it on the plane when I was coming back to the States, and because I remember I was at home and I was leafing through it. And it's one of those things where I'll start to read chronologically cover to cover, but you don't have to. So I was like flipping around like, I'm going to go see what, Sood's Corner, where they have quotations from people just being pretentious, pseudo-intellectual. Whatever.
Oh, Pseudo Corner.
Sood's Corner.
Yeah.
And they got these little things, Lovies is always great, which is some cringy quote by an actor or an actress about their love of theater and how important it is, what it means, and just
they just collect them and
they just have somebody over here submit it, and this person said this on BBC One on the radio, whatever, and they'll quote it, and it's just like, oh my god, what a embarrassing thing to say. But I was flipping around, then I came back and I was just. I started reading this little article, and it mentioned something from Mr. Show and had my name in there. And I'm standing in my office going, like, I made it.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And they also wrote it, the way it was written was presumed a familiarity with me.
But doesn't that...
It was a very exciting thing.
I wouldn't guess that would be... unusual for you. I would guess that would be. That would be
I've read my name in print, but I haven't read it in something that I, was such a fan of. And
wow, all right.
And it was just exciting.
Yeah, that is cool. But you weren't in the Sooties. You weren't. You hadn't. It wasn't.
No, it was making fun of ad. They have another section called Ad Nauseum, and it's about the advertising companies and different things, and it was I believe, if I remember correctly, it was something that was kind of ripping off something we did on Mr. Show, and they mentioned the bit, and they mentioned but it was they didn't like qualify it with like an American sketch show They just put it out there.
Of course, you assume that is for me that's like thrilling. It's on the Mount Rushmore of comedy. I just loved it. That's
all right. I didn't want to make this about me. I don't want
to blow smoke, but that is. I've there's a comic in there that is what's that?
Go ahead. Sorry.
There's a comic I think it's in this book because it's about Clinton and his impeachment, which would have been covered in that time, where it was I had supposed to be writing, but instead I'm watching like binging on Mr. Shows because I think I discovered it after it had been on for a while. So then I watched like 3 in a row on HBO, and I was just like vibrating. Like, sometimes when you're writing, like nothing's funny, like not depressing, just like everything's boring. Like, but then sometimes when the best thing is when you're writing and like everything is funny, that's hilarious. And I was like on that kind of roll from watching that. And I wrote like a comic that I was really proud of and was, got very popular because I was just on that. I remember that specifically. Not many things. Usually, when you say there's something's influenced you, it's more of a general thing. This was like a specific thing. Like this comic came from my like just being so excited about what I saw.
Well, good.
Mr. Yeah. So anyway, that's just wanted to let you know. And it's in the book.
Is it the kind of thing like would I know? Is there a
no? There's no reference at all.
You're just spurred,
it just literally inspired me,
Yeah.
and there's a little bit of business in there. I remember it. It's something like, and people commented on it. It was just a silly thing. How can we possibly solve this? All we've got is this time machine. and that was definitely from like the type of, I was just
Right.
like, that was a Mr. Show kind of line that was just like, that would be great. And I just like threw it in there. It had nothing to do with anything else. So yeah, it's, there's no reference to it. It's just, I specifically remember that comic. Maybe I'll show it to you after.
Well, now I know what to look for.
The time machine reference.
Time machine reference.
The time machine
I
reference.
Get it. Yeah, that's great. Well, I mean, that's what, in part, and I'm sure you feel the same way about your legacy of work. Like, hey, if it helps somebody else, if it
helps one person.
Well, one person
isn't.
That's not great. But
that's too few. Maybe 5 would be terrible too.
I think 5's not good either. No. I mean, you want a good
maybe if one of them is like, maybe if one of those 5 got nominated for something,
sure, then that would count for 25. Yeah, you want a baker's dozen, which is 13 because the baker always makes and doesn't pay for it, and that baker should be fired and made an example of.
Wow, that's a strong take. Suddenly,
I don't think it's strong. I mean, I just
know where
feel
that came from. That suddenly you're like
yeah. I mean, I'm a capitalist all the way. So if that's, you can bitch about wage theft all you want, but that's CEO theft. When a baker is working, for a multinational conglomerate, say Archway Cookies,
right,
and he's making cookies, and he makes a dozen quote unquote cookies, but guess what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a dozen, but there's one extra cookie. Wait, where's that going to go? The baker's going to take it, and he's going to take it and smuggle it and take it home to his sick child.
Wait, he takes it home? I thought he gives it to the consumer against the interests of the conglomerate. He should give it to the conglomerate.
No, he's taking it for his sick. He has a child with rickets.
It's selfish.
And well, it's. I mean, look. I'm sorry your kid has rickets. I didn't even know that was a thing anymore. But
I didn't think baker's dozens was a thing anymore. Do they still do that?
Yeah, it's 13.
13?
Yeah, it's a shortcut. It's a quicker way to say 13. A quicker way to say 13 is a baker's dozen. So see, look, listen, 13, 2 syllables. A baker's dozen, 6 syllables.
All right, yeah, it's quicker.
So it's a quicker way to say. And what do you think of when I say a baker's dozen? What do you think of immediately?
13.
Yeah. Now, when I say 13, what do you think of?
The movie, the bar mitzvah, a bar mitzvah.
Oh, you're a Jew. Is that what you? Okay. I thought a baker's. I thought it would.
It goes both ways.
Yeah, and then also haunted. Like 13 is unlucky.
Haunted, yeah.
So a haunted baker's dozen.
But
that's too. See, when I say 13 and you're thinking all that, then you're getting distracted, and you're not really thinking about 13. That's why I say baker's dozen when I want you to think about 13. So you think about 13. If I say 13, you're going to think about a baker's dozen. And what is the origin of that phrase? And we really don't think about a baker's dozen anymore. It's not used. See, your mind is off on the fucking races,
which seems like a waste of time.
It's a terrible waste of time. Yeah.
So you shouldn't use baker's dozen. You're wasting everyone's time with all these diversions.
No, Ruben, you should use baker's dozen in place of 13 because then you'll think of 13th floor. So when I'm in an elevator and I'm holding a bunch of stuff, right? I got 4 iced coffees and I'm struggling with them. Somebody's in there. Hi, what floor are you on? Baker's dozen. And then they hit 13. But guess what? There is no 13th floor because the Japanese are scared of it. So we don't have 13th floors in a lot of hotels because we want Japanese people to come visit and stay in the hotel.
Is it? I don't think. Is it Japanese? Because my aunt's building had no 13th floor, and she lived in the 14th.
Well,
so she wasn't. She wasn't fooling anybody. She was on the. I would always.
Well, you fooled the devil. The devil always gets tricked. Devil comes into the elevator with death, in a cloak and a scythe, and he's like, "Let's go get all those people on the 13th." Wait a minute, this thing doesn't have 13 floors. They skipped right over it. Oh, shucks.
That's why she lived a long and happy life, I guess, which is true. That's the key to longevity is not living on the 13th floor. Or changing the name of your floor from 13 to 14. 13 to 14.
And tricking the devil at his own game. What a dumb game. What a dumb devil.
Fantastic.
No, but really, a baker's dozen is when you take an extra loaf.
Yeah. And you take it home.
Take it home.
Take it home. I didn't even know about that. I didn't even know that was going on.
Yeah,
I don't own a conglomerate.
You know who you should talk to about this is Elizabeth Warren. I bet she'd have something to say. Our
senator from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're in New York now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know how Schumer would. He's not gonna.
Schumer's not gonna care. No, it's Warren or nobody. But she. Would
you move back to Massachusetts and get residency there?
I have to go to Redbones somehow. Mm-hmm. I have to try that.
It's still there. I can't believe. But no, wait. Have you gone back to?
Yes, for sure. My daughter lived. My oldest daughter lived probably the way you described it, like 2 blocks away from it. Do
you know where the old Candlepin Bowling was?
Yes.
Okay, so about 2. I would say it's in between Rosebud Diner and
I think I can picture it now.
Bowling.
I think we've talked about it about
Did
going
we?
in and we not you and I, but various people and I have talked about going in and didn't go in.
Okay, well that's a little different than not knowing. Now wait a minute.
I think we were worried.
Wait a minute.
This is a very vague thing, but I think I may have been worried that I'd be called a Barney because I really wasn't from Somerville. I was living there, but
you were telling on yourself in so many ways.
Yeah,
so you do know about Redbones. You do know about the term Barney because
it's all coming back. It's all. Because once you said Candlepin Bowling, I remember there was something near there. Candlepin Bowling is one of the best things about New England.
It's
that they have their own kind of bowling.
Yeah. Fuck you, other bowlers. Right. Your superior bowling,
right? That everyone loves. We're going to have this weird thing with you can hold a ball.
It's a smaller ball.
It's a smaller ball and straight
smaller things, and it's their own thing. And God love you. Yeah. All right, and we're going to call a milkshake a frap, but we call a milkshake milk with syrup in it.
Oh wait,
yeah.
Milk with that's what they call a milkshake? Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that. I would get fraps.
I think now more and more people are coming around to the universal
what a milkshake is.
But yeah, a frap was a milk what we considered a milkshake. And if you got a milkshake at like an old place, it would be, like chocolate milk or milk
and syrup.
Milk and flavored syrup.
No ice cream.
No.
Wow. Well, that makes sense really. You put milk in it, stir it up. There's no ice. There's no.
Yeah,
where's the ice cream? Why doesn't milkshake have the word ice cream in it?
Yeah, but also frap.
Frap is who knows? Yeah, that's just such a New England, just out of left field.
It sounds vaguely French.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's got.
I think frapper is a hitter or batter because I went to an Expos game, an old Montreal Expos game, and they would. Announce everybody in French and like, there's a frapper, if I was hearing the word correctly.
When I went to a Montreal Expo game, I went to Montreal with a friend in the late 80s. Mm-hmm. Probably you were getting ready to move to Somerville.
Yeah.
I'm going to, we went to Montreal on a road trip. We go to an Expos game. And I was surprised going to Montreal that they actually spoke French seriously. Like I thought it was sort of like a cute gimmick, we're going to speak a little French, but everyone will speak English really. And there are people who only spoke French, especially I think it's changed now. There's probably more English now, but at that time there was So I go to get us like hot dogs and beers, And I'm so flummoxed by, trying to negotiate it without speaking French. I get them. I go back to our seats. We're sitting there eating them. And the lady who sold them to me, I see her walking down the aisle and seeing me and like running up to me. And I'm like, oh hi, how are you? And she begins talking to me in French. And I'm like, what's going on? And someone nearby says, you forgot to pay.
Oh, wow.
I was, I must have been like, wow, I completed that transaction successfully, even though I don't speak the language.
This is pre-cards. This is pre.
Well, there would have been cards, but I just didn't pay at all. I got my stuff and walked away, and she went and found me.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that.
No.
Even though they speak French, you're still not allowed to. Just take.
I
food.
learned my lesson. I thought French would have different ways, but
no,
I learned.
And it's Quebecois. It's not. They'll be the first to tell you.
Quebecois. Yeah.
Two little anecdotes regarding Montreal. One, when you went, this isn't an anecdote, it's just a experience, but did you go to the stadium by taking the subway?
I don't remember. We didn't. Oh no, we had a car because we were on a road trip, but I don't know if we would have driven with. I don't remember.
It's one of the coolest things because I didn't know that this is what happened. We were just my friend and I went and just took and I'd never been to Montreal. I'd never been out of the country at this point. And we took the subway, from town, in the city to the Expo Stadium, and the subway, that's the stop, like Expo Stadium, and you go out just like you're leaving any subway, and you go up the stairs and you go to the exit signs, and you are in the stadium. You're basically, you're basically in the kind of outer arena concessions area.
Wow, it's Olympic Stadium, indoor, an indoor stadium.
It was really cool. I was not expecting that. I took the subway to Expo, expecting, okay, like my sole experience with going to games is like you get off the subway, or drive a car or whatever, and you're in the parking lot, and then you go stadium, and you see the stadium, you walk towards it, and you go through and this is it just dumps you off. You're in there.
What about ticketing? Is that free, or
no? You have to go through
or did someone chase you and say, "Wait a minute, you have to"?
Yeah, the only thing that was free was hot dogs and beer, and that you're allowed to just walk up and take. There's a secret word that you say in French, and if you don't know it, then But I had a very similar experience where. Same trip. It was the first time I'd ever been outside of the country. I want to say this is 90, let's say.
So you just moved into Somerville.
Yeah, it's all Somerville centric. Everything revolves around Somerville. There's BC and AD and all about when I moved to Somerville. And my friend Jonathan and I went, and I went to get a coffee. And we're in the hardcore French speaking part, which I don't know at the time. And I just go, hi, yes, could I get a large coffee, please? And the girl was roughly my age, just staring at me and coffee. And she speaks to me in French, and I don't understand what's happening. Also, I haven't had coffee yet, so it's doubly confusing. And I really don't understand what's happening. She's just staring at me. And then I don't remember how either it occurred to me or somebody said something, but she wanted me to say cafe.
Oh, she understood you.
Oh, she understood me. I didn't say the word cafe.
Wow.
And I remember being really kind of ticked off at that.
Yeah, that's
a
uncool.
bit much.
So, yeah, I mean, to not understand would be...
She thought it was disrespectful, I think.
Wow.
Is my guess.
That's the reputation of the Parisians. Like you have to...
they got nothing.
You have to use all their
uptight
special
Montreal folks. Yeah.
They're very defensive about it.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Hamas or Israel? No. All right.
I was prepared for that. I was in the subway and I was wondering, I wonder if that'll come up.
No. Let me ask you this.
An answer.
Let me ask you this. I should ask everyone that. New York bagel or a Montreal bagel?
Oh, come on. It's the same thing. They have their own cute little thing there, and God bless them. I think that's fantastic. They have their own language and their own government and their own bagels, and I think that's fantastic. It makes it fun to go there. But it's the New York bagel is the thing. That's the best.
I disagree.
Oh my God,
wholeheartedly. I much prefer. No, it's not a pretzel. It is not.
I'm just trying to get some heat here.
I much prefer the Montreal bagel. It's denser. It's slightly sweeter, but not cloyingly sweet at all. It's just a hint of it, and a sesame Montreal bagel toasted with butter is just perfection.
It's great. I loved it.
I prefer it to the New York bagel.
We now do, my wife is such a foodie, and then I've sort of come along on that, but especially for foods like bagels, like we just would do like a tour, like just like go to like this bagel place, that bagel place, like try them all. And so that was, it was really fun.
And where do you live? I'll cut it out. What section of town? Okay. This is going by whatever the bagel, that blog, the bagel guy, the guy who went out to every bagel place in New York. It's just like the pizza guy.
Okay.
But anyway, according to the bagel blog, I live around the corner from Brooklyn's best bagel and the third best bagel in all of New York City.
Wow.
And I would agree. They are great bagels, homemade.
Homemade is, yeah.
They're really, really good.
That's great.
I would still prefer a Montreal bagel.
Wow, nice. Great. You're a great traveler. Mm-hmm. You have an open mind. Mm-hmm. I guess, I grew up in New Jersey. These are my bagels. This is what I'm used to. So I have to root for the hometown bagel. There's bagel wars. I mean, people have, and people in their own neighborhoods, I feel like the best is in my neighborhood, and the people, I have a lot of friends in the Upper West Side who swear by absolute bagels.
Absolute? I haven't had it.
Bad.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So what's your bagel place?
H&H.
Oh, H&H is good.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
I'm around in Brooklyn on Vanderbilt Avenue. There's the ye old Brooklyn bagel or whatever it's called. They're great.
Yeah, someone was telling me about that.
It's very good. It's very good.
Ye old doesn't sound like it would be a great bagel place.
You're right. And it's kind of corny looking, and they do the little gilded gold and painting on the glass, but it's quite good, and that's the one that's considered the best in Brooklyn.
All right, I gotta try it. I love a food excursion. I love to go get out there, find bagels for pizza. Absolutely.
Bagels for pizza
or pizza are two things that I will travel around. Yeah. I went to
Give me your top 3 pizza places. I helped you out by saying 3.
Yeah. Well, I like in New York City. Yeah. Because I like New Haven pizza now.
I do too. New Haven's great.
My
but
favorite.
let's
all right. Roberta's?
Yeah, I haven't had it, but I know of it. Very famous.
Oh man, I'm blanking. I can't even think of ones I don't like now. See, I told you I wouldn't be good at improv.
What's your favorite slice?
I think Joe's.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Joe's in the West Village, and that's a standard choice, but I've come to
it's good.
I've come to love it. I think when I have it a lot, like late at night, one thing is that they're always making this is to advantage of any pizza place. It gets popular enough. There's always making pizzas, so it's always fresh. It's not being reheated. So midnight, you can go in there and a pie's coming out of the oven.
Yeah, Joe's is very good. I like it's a good slice. Have you had the Detroit pizza at Emmy Squared?
Is that on? Where is that? On 23rd Street? I did have Detroit.
I don't know if
they
have one in Manhattan, but they definitely have one in. I think it was their original pizza place, actually. It's in Williamsburg.
Oh, okay.
It's really good.
Oh,
really good. And the first time I had Detroit style pizza in New York, and it's excellent. Now there's a bunch of them, and they have Jets, which is that chain.
A few years ago, I realized I say this. A few years ago, I had a dream. This was my dream. We have a minivan, an old beat up minivan.
Wait, is this an actual dream, like
No,
nighttime
this
dream?
is true. This is like an MLK dream. This is like an
okay. I'll listen to that. I don't want to listen to your dream.
An aspirational
Right.
goal.
Right.
I think the best pizza is
one day not be judged by the color of your skin.
No, I don't care about that. It's about pizza. So we could fit.
Why would a white guy care about?
I don't care.
Yeah, you can judge all you want.
Whatever happens,
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, where I'm okay. I go that the best pizza is when it comes right out of the oven, as I said. So you want to order whole pies at a slice place. So you get the pie coming out. It's your pie, but you need 8 friends to do that. And what I wanted to do was to...
Well, wait, I'm sorry. Who doesn't get a slice if it's you and 8 friends?
Oh, that's true. That's true. We need one designated driver. One guy's going to drive.
Who doesn't want to get too fat to drive? I'm too fat to drive.
Yeah, 8 friends. Damn, you got me. You're really listening. So 1 year after Thanksgiving, the Friday after Thanksgiving, my family here, my brother and our kids, and we all got in the minivan, 8 of us, and we went to Brooklyn and drove from pizza place to pizza place, ordering a pizza by phone as we're driving to it. The pizza comes out hot. The 8 of us each get a slice, and then you go to the next place.
That's great.
It was, I was so happy that this dream that I had, not a nighttime sleepy dream, but actually happened, and everyone was so happy with it.
That's great. I mean, some people, dream about equality, and
it's a good one. I'm not saying that's bad.
And some people dream about getting their whole crew into a van and getting some hot pizza.
That's who's to judge which is the better dream?
Me. All right, Ruben Bolling, thank you. This is I'm acting like this is a talk show, but I want people to see it because you're the first person who's come on that has a physical.
Now I feel
thing.
Bad. I feel like I'm like it's like I brought a prop. I really just
no. This is for me, and I appreciate it. But I want people to know how great this comic is. And just and wait, the Inner Hive. Where would they go online to?
Oh man, thank you. You're doing me a big favor. Yeah, the Inner Hive is my subscription service where you get the comic a day before it's published every week, and that TomTheDancingBug.com.
Yeah, and you are writing for Boing Boing now.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
I see that because I'm subscribed to the thing, so it's on there.
Yeah, I put on the articles that I wrote for Boing Boing. Yeah, just like little pieces, little this and that, whatever's come up.
Well, it's time to ask you a question from my daughter, and here it is. This is from Marlo, and she asks, Ruben, will you die if you lick a tree?
Wow. Short answer, no. But I'm sure there's all kinds of possibilities. I mean, you could die after doing almost anything. So I wouldn't want to, lead her down Primrose path and say that she won't die if she licks a tree. So the answer, the longer answer is sure, you could die.
So the short answer is no, but the long answer is yes.
Sure. Because you're going to die eventually. You could lick a tree and then someday you will die. And you might die from licking the tree. There's no way to really know.
Well,
but
this is
6 years old.
Let's focus on the word if, okay? Because that seems to be the one that you're kind of hung up on.
Mm-hmm.
So would you die? You're saying yes, regardless of what comes after that. Would you die if you hung out and watched TV and had some lemonade? And then your long answer is like, you're going to die eventually. Yes, so, I mean, whether you have lemonade or not.
That's right. That's
the long answer is, would you die if is going to be yes.
Because logically.
But when you add lick a tree and make it specific, the short answer is no.
Well, the short answer is always no, unless it's something that is actually extremely dangerous. So as long as it's something that's innocuous, the short answer is going to be, no, you won't die if you lick a tree. But when you think about it, if you lick a tree, you will die.
All right. What if you don't lick a tree?
You'll still die.
All right. So then it's not if you lick a tree. It's not
Why
if.
not?
The word if is what we need to focus on, Ruben.
No, if you lick a tree, will you die from that? Would be the full question that you're asking.
I think that's
that your daughter
implied.
didn't
I think
ask.
that's implied.
Well, you're talking about a 6-year-old's question.
All right, you want to go and talk to a 6-year-old and go, let me tell you why that's an incorrect sentence structure.
I would have given her the short answer, but I'm talking to you, her dad. And
don't talk to me.
know.
It's her question. Talk to her.
Well, she's okay. Give her the answer. No.
All right.
But know in your mind that she could die later or from licking that tree. There's all kinds of viruses.
You just said, wait. You just said if you lick a tree, no, you're not going to die. That was how you brought it up. So so I'm supposed to say you will die.
No, in your mind. You're not supposed to say it.
Oh, just
you're supposed to know it. You're her dad, and you should
be
know
in my heart.
The full facts of all the dangers of licking the tree, as slow as they may be, as well as her mortality.
Right.
You need to know that, and that's my bonus to you.
Well, thank you. I need to turn
to
on my heart light, which was a beautiful song that was written for E.T.
Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond sung it. Burt Bacharach wrote it.
But who wrote the lyrics then? Because Burt didn't write the lyrics.
I don't know.
Oh.
Are you sure?
He never wrote lyrics, right? No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't? I thought
Hal
he
Davis?
did. Hal Davis wrote a bunch of lyrics, but I thought
and then there was
he
that
wrote...
woman. I don't think Burt Bacharach ever wrote lyrics.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he did.
So. Well, I could be wrong.
All right. Well, your time is up. Thank you, Ruben Bolling. Thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you so much. This was a great honor and really fun.
And we should start the podcast, though, right?
I didn't know we had started.
That was a Headgum podcast.